An 18-year-old female corpse was dug up, dressed in luxurious clothes and adorned with jewelry. Clearly, she is a wealthy family's heiress. The two grave robbers thought they'd make a fortune this time, but they didn't expect the cemetery keeper to show up suddenly. Armed with a weapon, he threatened them into handing over all the stolen treasure. Yet strangely enough, he only chased them away and didn't call the police. After watching the two figures disappear, the keeper jumped down into the tomb and skillfully checked if there were any gold teeth in the female corpse's mouth. This old man named John, while working as a cemetery keeper, was actually the biggest grave robber in the area. Obsessed with gambling, he'd lost most of the stolen treasure in bets, and his latest haul wasn't enough to pay off his gambling debts. His creditors warned him that if he didn't settle the remaining money within a week, they'd seal him alive in a coffin. Luck was on John's side, though. An opportunity soon arose when a wealthy captain tragically died and was set to be buried in the cemetery he managed. The captain not only had a mouthful of gold teeth, but also carried a priceless sword bestowed by the king. At the thought of the treasure that was soon to be his, John was over the moon. On the night of the burial, John couldn't wait to dig up the captain's coffin. He pried it open only to be stunned. The coffin was completely empty. It turned out a swarm of rats had chewed a hole in the side of the coffin and dragged the body away right in front of John. He scrambled forward to grab it, but only managed to catch one shoe. Watching the captain's body being pulled further and further away, John's mind went completely blank. In a daze, he imagined his creditors nailing the lid shut on his own coffin. Gritting his teeth, John followed the rats into the dark, deep tunnel. He crawled with great difficulty through the twisting, turning passage that threatened to collapse at any moment, narrowly escaping being buried alive. Finally, clawing his way out of the dirt, John was suddenly surrounded by another swarm of rats that overwhelmed him. In a panic, he fired his weapon wildly, only to accidentally shoot himself in the foot. Just then, a giant rat king appeared, and John ducked for cover, gritting his teeth against the intense pain and daring not to make a sound. When he shone his light around to check again, the Rat King suddenly appeared behind him. In a desperate move, John shot and wounded the creature before fleeing for his life, only to accidentally fall into a deep pit. Looking closely, he realized he'd stumbled into an underground palace surrounded by human skeletons. As he panicked, a stroke of luck came his way. He found a jeweled ring among the bones. It turned out the rats had dumped all the skeletons here after eating the bodies, and the burial treasures had come along with them. Greed instantly overcame his fear, and John began collecting the scattered jewels, including the captain's sword. He started searching for a way out, but everywhere his flashlight beam touched revealed horrifying sights. A giant cult statue loomed behind him, sending chills down his spine, making it clear this place had once been a cult headquarters. Directly opposite the statue stood a skeleton in a kneeling position, wearing a gold necklace inlaid with gemstones around its chest. John's eyes lit up, and he approached cautiously, muttering prayers to the Lord as he removed the necklace. But just then, the mummy suddenly came to life, grabbing John tightly and trying to get the necklace back. The mummy crawled toward him with only half its body, but luckily, the zombie had no legs, giving John a chance to run. He shone his flashlight down a tunnel and miraculously spotted a light at the end. It had to be the exit. John climbed upward excitedly, praying as he went, but when he reached the top, he panicked. Desperately, he realized the light was just the reflection of a plaque that read, "Rest in peace." He had climbed into someone else's coffin. Unwilling to be buried alive here, John banged frantically on the coffin lid, hoping someone would hear his calls for help.